Konnichiwa, Samurai James here. In this video, I'm going to open this box from the UK that has something in it that was from Japan. Now I'm going to be opening this with the knife from Stone Belt Knives. Depending on when you're seeing this video, this might be up for my thank you as a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the description below while that giveaway is still active. If you're in the continental US above 18 years of age, like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll be eligible to win this knife. Now, this particular one comes from David Thatcher of Raimu Antiques. It's actually spelled R-A-I-M-U. You might think that's Raimu, but it's actually pronounced Rhyme. I don't know a whole lot about pronunciation all the time, but that is one thing that I know. So this is not one, but two things, and it is something that I'm quite excited to get because it's something that I don't have one of, and now I've actually got two. So without further ado, let's get this thing opened up. Now I'm being meticulously careful because, mild spoiler here, this is an antique and I want to make absolutely sure that I don't damage it in any way. Oh, all right. Let's get this out and take a closer look. Now, as you can tell, this is a dough. What type of dough is this? This is one called a tatehagi, which is actually vertical strips rather than the one that we often see where the strips are actually laminated sideways. This is the back plate, so I'm going to pull this up and show you a little bit as it comes out. Now this one is from the Edo period, as far as actually which decade or century, not quite sure, but that time is given to me by David Thatcher, who is one of the best with samurai armor for many, many decades, so I certainly trust his evaluation on that. Here we go. Now, of course, there is some broken odoshi here. This is not in the best of condition, but it is in my price range. I happened to get lucky and catch this when he had one up for sale. When he puts stuff up for sale, it tends to go within, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, but it sells incredibly quickly. So what I might look into doing is possibly having this relaced to keep track of the condition a little bit better, but I'm going to make sure that if it does get relaced, it's only done with proper silk sageo, specifically from Japan, possibly Namikawa, but I don't know if I want to relace it myself. I think I might be able to, but I don't really want to work on an antique because I don't think I'm quite at that level. Now this has some urushi that is flicking off and everything. Again, as I said, it was in my price range, so when I saw it, I had about 30 seconds to think about it before I had to say if I wanted it or not, because I was afraid it was going to run away and I might not be able to get it. But I also had my little friend here that was up on my shoulder, and one said, oh yeah, do it, do it, do it, do it. You definitely need to get that. So I ended up buying it, and as I was in the process of messaging him, I started thinking to myself, well, let's set this one aside over here. Very carefully. Now, until such time as I relace it, what I'll probably do is run a couple of pieces of fishing line or similar through here to actually help support the kusazuri there so that all the strain is not sitting just on the odoshi for that. And I'm going to slide this box over a bit to get me a bit more workspace. Put the knife back in the sheath and we will clean that up when we are done. Here we go. Yeah! Alright, let's take a look at the front of it. Now, as you can see, even the lacing here on the tatehagi, I believe is the name of the strip here at the top, is in good condition. The kusazuri here in front is faring a little bit better than the back plate is. But again, I will add a little bit of extra support just to make sure that it doesn't tear itself away until I get around to actually relacing it a bit. This one here, the Muniita for the armpit here, this one has actually popped off, so I'll have to make sure that I get that one supported properly. I'll be building a stand specifically to put this on display, so it'll be really easy to put any reinforcing pieces that I needed, because I'll be building that stand myself. Now, okay, well, I mentioned that I had an argument with the devil on this one. And he won because, in case you can't see that, I bought a second one. So I thought, you know what? If you're going to ship one, you might as well ship two. Shouldn't be that much difference other than the weight to it. So, here is the second one. Now this one is also dated by Thatcher himself to the Edo period. This is the more common Okigawa do style. I'm going to set that one down right here as well. Don't want to leave it sitting on the wattagami too much. Now this one here, of course, has the same sort of thing going on with the kusazuri, where the odoshi is coming off of it. I actually spoke to Thatcher and I said, you know, if this gets relaced, would you suggest retaining this odoshi just for anything that might help with the dating or otherwise? And he said to promptly file it in the bin, as new silk would be good for over 100 years. So I probably won't keep track of the odoshi. If I do, I might put it in a little baggie or something just to have, just for novelty purposes, just because, like I said, I don't have any antique do, and now I actually have two of them. You might have noticed the case behind me. If you've seen some of my older videos, it wasn't in it, so these two are going to be going on display here on the bottom. That will hopefully fit, because I didn't measure and check, but, you know, let's see if they do or not. Now, let's get out the front of this. Here we go. And here we go. There we go. Now again, a bit of urushi damage, but as I said, it was in my price range and I certainly had to just jump and not think about it too much. I'm thrilled to have this, damage or not. I mean, some of these things, you know, a good Japanese harness in good condition from the Edo period, certainly if it's earlier, can go for $30, $50, $100,000, and I ain't got that kind of money to be spending on that. So, you know, we get what's in our budget and we enjoy it. And I am certainly happy with these. I'm going to be taking some pictures here shortly, which will be mixed in with the video along the way. I am just taking a little bit of a look at it here. It's one thing to see the pictures of the antiques. It's a whole other thing to actually get your hands on it, touch it, feel it, play with it, and see what it looks like. I'm particularly excited about these because it gives me something else as an extra point of comparison, having had hands-on experience with antique Japanese armor at this point, especially when I'm evaluating things like modern reproductions. Now, there's certainly things that aren't going to be the same on a modern reproduction that are pretty easy to roll off right out of the bat, you know. This is iron, it's not mild steel, this is cold hammered. In some cases, reproductions are, this particular one being a Taisho class from Iron Mountain Armory, has hand hammered plates. Not all of their classes of armor have it, but other cool things like the textured pattern here for the urushi. I'm not aware of any modern makers who are actually doing urushi because it's toxic. So even as far as a synthetic, I haven't found anyone that's doing it. The closest I've seen is Maritake Sangyo, who does a lot of stuff for the Japanese taiga, but I believe that's actually a translation issue, and what they're calling, you know, lacquer or enamel on it, I think is actually just paint the same as the other ones are. So I can't find anything that actually says it's really an urushi type lacquer, which is how they build up the edges on the plates of this, and they thicken things out. So everybody hears how thin the plates are on samurai armor, but they were thickened up by the urushi, which helped with resisting moisture and everything else, and maybe I'll go into some of the details of that on a separate video. But for now, I'm going to take some pictures of this, and I'm just going to sit and happily ogle at it. So we're going to wrap up the video. So this is Samurai James saying thanks for watching. My thanks to David Thatcher at Raimu Antiques. I'm glad that I happened to catch these. I wish I would have caught a few other things. He had some other pieces for sale that I was interested in that I didn't see till the next day, and they were all gone. Like, there was 4 sets of Sangu, and they were all gone within a day. And, you know, they were gone when I saw them a day later. They were probably gone within an hour. Anyway, I will keep an eye out on that, and maybe I'll get some at a future point. At this point, the only thing that I haven't actually had hands-on with now is Haidate and a Kabuto and Mempo, but I've got Antique Do, I've got Kote, I've got Sunyate, so we are pretty close. Ah, yes, I forgot Sode, also Sode. Anyway, this is pretty cool. Edo period Okigawa Do, Edo period Tatehaga Do, a much less common type, so it's really cool to see one of these in person and really be able to take a look at it both inside and out. Again, there's just such a difference to seeing it in person and having it in your hands as compared to the pictures. Pictures are great. Books are great. I've got a lot of books on, this sort of stuff. You can see stuff in museums behind glass, but getting to touch it right here is a whole completely different thing. And I'll actually have to figure out if there's anything that I need to do to wipe this down gently after speaking over top of it and everything. And that sort of thing is going to be a subject for a future video here, hopefully in a few weeks or a few months. And yeah, that's it. Samurai James saying thanks for watching, and sayonara.